Hello and welcome to Swann Stories. Today, the train journey to hell and London. The night air was cold. Mr. Mellet gazed on the empty station platform, his breath emitting in small clouds. He was glad his business at the remote village of Little Wicket was finished. The deceased's relatives had been suspicious of him, even after they had rung to confirm his standing with solicitors Bingley, Beardsley, Bingley and Bingley. When the train finally arrived, creaking and wheezing down the rails, he grabbed his suitcase and marched smartly to let himself on. The silent and empty carriages filled him with a certain reticence, but he dismissed it as simple fancy, the product of spending too much time around superstitious country folk. Mellet shut the compartment door and placed his briefcase on his knee. The train pulled away from the station with a motion so smooth it was almost dreamlike, and he began to feel an odd unease, as if somebody unexpected had crept up behind him. Turning his head, he was astonished to see Mr. Bingley himself, partner to the solicitor's firm, leering down at him. He was wearing the outfit usually reserved for the Christmas pantomime, his yellowed teeth exposed in a grotesque grin, his suspenders and pantaloons gleaming in the moonlight. Mellet blinked and found himself quite alone once more. Shaking his head, he gazed blindly out of the window, and in time forgot his delusions, amusing himself by filling his pipe. He was contemplating a game of cards when the compartment door flew open with a terrible crash. "Good God!" exclaimed Mellet. "Terribly sorry about that, Squire," said the ticket collector, tipping his cap. "No harm done," Mellet snapped, and searched his pockets. "I'm terribly sorry," he said. "I can't seem to find my ticket." "That's quite all right," said the ticket collector. "You won't be needing it where you're going." "I'm terribly sorry," said Mellet. "I said, you won't be needing it on this train, sir. This train only has one stop." The words had barely left his mouth when the train picked up an impossible speed, almost tearing Mellet from his seat. The ticket collector bellowed with terrible, unending laughter. "I say, what's all this about?" said Mellet. But he couldn't hear himself over the thunder of the engine. "Oh, God, no!" he cried, clawing desperately at the window. Then all was still. Mellet hardly dared move in case it was merely the eye of the storm, but when he looked up, the ticket collector had gone, and he was at a familiar station. Confused, he made his way to the exit, where he found a man in station uniform. "Oh yes," he explained. "London, end of the line. All trains have to stop here." He raised his hands to the side of his face. "All passengers stuck on the train to hell receive a free cab service to their intended destinations." Breathing a sigh of relief, Mellet followed him to the line of waiting carriages outside.